In this speaking skills video, let's look at 9 rocket ways to conversational mastery. The skill of effective and articulate conversation is the most desired area for improvement by English learners. It's a top lifestyle skill that can have enormous benefits throughout your life. Number 1. Get your pace right. Pace is how fast or slow you talk, defined by how many words per minute you speak. General conversation is around 120 to 150 words per minute. So talking less than 100 will put people to sleep. I like to go for a walk. More than 190 words per minute and people might not understand. TED Talks average 163 words per minute. Podcasts, radio hosts, audiobooks and YouTubers at 150 to 160. Commentators, such as in sports, average 250 to 400. Sports commentators can be hilariously fast. Johnson's got the ball racing down the right side, pass 1, pass 2, heading for the straight, take the shot. Oh my, it's in! Can you believe it? Not on this earth. Record yourself alone, talking for 1 minute or reading out a passage. Count the words and your words per minute. It's recommended to do it 3 or more times using different scripts to get an average. Are you within the 120 to 150? Pace is variable. If speaking was not variable, it would be monotone. I am going to the shops. See you in 1 hour. And we can speed up some words or a sentence to demonstrate urgency or cause excitement. Or we can slow down some words or a sentence, or even pause for emphasizing a fact or statement and for dramatic effect. When we are nervous, we tend to talk faster and are more likely to confuse what we want to say. Breathing gets faster and shallower, so you run out of breath. When you speak slower, you can process the meaning of what you are saying better. You can think clearer about what you are going to say next as you have more time to think. People tend to copy in social situations. Have you ever spoken slower to others around you and noticed they are slowing down too? It's a good technique in job interviews if the interviewer is native and is speaking too fast for you to understand. Just slow down your replies and see if they slow down a bit with you. Number 2, speak out aloud to yourself when you are alone, one of the most important techniques to do daily. It gives you a safe space to improve speaking skills without the pressure of people around you and trains your brain to speak more fluently when in a real situation. Here is a short guide to speaking while following an audio. Find an interesting short audio or video. If you want, you can activate the script on the YouTube and follow it together with the audio or video as an initial warm-up. Play the audio and record yourself speaking alongside and repeating what they are saying. You can stop, start and slow down the audio as needed. Listen well and then try to copy as closely as possible the pronunciation characteristics. That could be the pace, pauses, intonation or syllables and stresses. Play back and see how well you imitated the sounds of the speaker. Practice any unknown phrases, words or difficult pronunciation. Select some phrases or sentences that could be useful in a future scenario. Note idiomatic expressions, idioms, collocation, phrasal verbs, similes, etc. Say out loud the new phrases and talk about the topic in your own words. Debate it in your head. Agree, disagree, discuss your point of view. Repeat the whole audio or video as many times as needed. Imagine listening to an audio describing the joys of scuba diving. This summary is easy to understand if you're an intermediate student. It doesn't use complicated vocabulary or expressions. You can pause the video and have a quick scan through. But what about a more advanced description? Pause the video and have a look through this. How many words don't you understand and how many words would you find difficult to pronounce? Now you have to convert this into conversation. It's great for your vocabulary and pronunciation. Where do we get the materials and resources from? Obviously, some common resources would be podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube, Spotify, movies, documentaries, TED Talks, National Geographic. Start with areas you really like and then expand into other topics. Mix them together. Mix comedy to relax with more serious material. Take a look at fiction, non-fiction, autobiographies. Number 3, language exchange partner or English groups. Consider finding a language exchange partner where you give half an hour of your time and they give half an hour of their time. Or consider joining an English language exchange group on a social media platform. You could take paid classes with a community or professional teacher. A community teacher could be a little bit more economical as they're not generally qualified. Number 4, pronunciation. It is important to have good pronunciation in conversation as making mistakes can be destroying. Even slight differences in stress and syllables can make a word incomprehensible. Confidence in pronunciation is another step in confidence in speaking. Minute, minute, content, content, wind, wind, dove, dove, lead, lead, desert, dessert, though, tough, through, thorough, thought. Can you pronounce the 44 sounds correctly? Research intonation, disappearing syllables, assimilation, stress in syllables. Write down any pronunciation issues affecting your speaking confidence. You can use apps specific to aid pronunciation or record words that you can't pronounce well in a notebook. There are some applications which check your recorded audio for correct pronunciation. Number 5, vocabulary. The connection between a student's vocabulary level and their speaking confidence is huge. Students with a low-level vocabulary just can't find the words to express the topic, mainly the nouns, verbs and adjectives. When you are talking conversation, if the other person uses high vocabulary, you might not fully understand, and this will affect the quality and confidence in your replies. I will show you how to learn vocabulary in another video. Her ravishing beauty captured many an admirer. It was a hectic day. That's a whopping pizza. Are you sure you can finish it? I'm fuming. You're 2 hours late. How do you feel becoming a father? I'm ecstatic, just over the moon. How many words do we need for confident conversation? 3,000 words is basic conversation, and most general conversation uses just 3,000 words. 5,000 words is a confident level of conversation, and many consider this a good foundation. 7,000 to 9,000 words, well, at this point you're fluent and you can understand a movie to about 98% and converse in more depth. If you manage to reach 12 or 15,000 words, then well done. That's remarkable. As a native person, 20 to 40,000 is quite common. So let's take a look at some additional vocabulary you should know. The Oxford 3000 and 5000 is obviously one of the most important vocabulary lists to learn. Academic word list from the University of Wellington, and that could be useful if you are studying. Idioms, similes and phrasal verbs, collocations, that's all free on the internet, and certainly, if you can, buy the books on them and then you have them right in front of you. Good and bad personality descriptions. In the same way, the 5 senses, sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. We use the 5 senses every day. It's an absolute necessity vocabulary list. Emotions and feelings, especially B2, C1 and C2 level. Movement verbs. Remarkable words to describe amazing experiences. And then there's vocabulary related to specific topics, which is generally everything else. And last of all, it might be a good idea to refresh yourself from the vocabulary at B1 and below. Number 6, conversational starter phrases. Phrases for conversation is a list of starter phrases and words generally used at the beginning of sentences for speech. These common and standard expressions are particularly helpful to know. For example, it gives some fill-in phrases to avoid saying and What did you do last weekend? Last weekend I sat on a bench in the snow under a tree with my umbrella. Although and are exclamations, you will sound better not to use them. Here is another example, asking to clarify or asking for clarification. Your English teacher should be able to give you advice or take our Module 1 course. When you get the list, practice and remember some of them. They are very handy expressions and you will already know a lot of them at B2 level. Number 7, grammar. Let's talk about the relationship between grammar and speaking skills. Most of the essential grammar is finished at upper B2 level, so you should be confident if you have studied to that level. However, incorrect grammar during conversation can lower confidence, especially getting the verb tenses wrong. There is the possibility the listener will not fully understand or be a bit confused, and you may be aware of this and start to feel a little anxious. So start to document any grammar issues you feel you might have or notice. Put the list in priority of learning and take action. Also consult the CEFR grammar list, showing what grammar should be covered and known at what level. For example, what grammar is covered at A1, what grammar is covered at A2, etc. Number 8, analysing images. Learn the skill of analysing imagery, such as with photographs, paintings, or any artwork. An important and highly effective way to improve conversation fluency and greatly expand and fix new vocabulary to memory is learning the skill of analysing an image. This develops the ability of critical thinking and once mastered can be a skill that can be used for many years to come, and you do not need to know anything about art to do this. Each time an image is evaluated, it's an insight into life and the world around us. In time, this will filter into your daily conversation. There are specific vocabulary lists that we can use for this, but they're already mentioned in the vocabulary section. Find an interesting image and write up to 400 words about it. I recommend an internet search for images from the top award competitions. That's the Sony World Photo Awards, the World Wildlife Photograph Awards, or the World Press Awards. After writing it, read it out aloud alone or with a teacher and practice your conversation control and pace. This technique creates repetition, confidence building, and increases the ability and skill of effective communication. In time, you can be given a photograph to critique and will not need to write it down first. It will be a spontaneous reply. This technique in time will filter into your daily conversations. Here is a basic starting guide to analysing an image or a piece of artwork. Number 9. Practice speaking by replying to questions with 30 or 60-second answers. By visualizing the question and its potential answers, you can create a more accurate, engaging, interactive, and articulate reply. Pause the video and take a look at this chart. Why would it be interesting to live in the 1920s? So here is a reply in the first person, and here is a reply in the third person. Why would it not be good to live in the 1920s? So here is a reply in the first person, and here is a reply in the third person. Personal issues. Although this does not apply to most people, you might want to review to see if you have any personal speaking issues that might affect your conversational skills. This could be a social phobia or speaking disability such as a stutter. If you have a shy personality or are a bit too introvert, maybe there is a method to gain more confidence. The skill of confident, fluent intellectual conversation is a life skill that will provide remarkable benefits throughout your life. Please consider learning some of these methods today. Good luck.